with Ginny and Jenni. This is the Noonas podcast with Ginny and Jenni.
Dual set. Heart to heart. Noonas podcast. Welcome back to the final episode of 2021 of the Noonas podcast. This is your host, Jenny, with your co-host, always Ginny. I don't know why I almost said your name for my name.
We switch bodies. We all switch bodies.
Apparently, we had a Freaky Friday moment on a Thursday. I have no idea what's happening anymore. I think it's the Christmas holidays officially sucking the brain out of me. I think the Christmas evil officially took over me, as if that's what Stray Kids were talking about. I have no idea. But, God, Christmas. As we're recording this, it's not quite Christmas, but this will be coming out after Christmas. So, but yeah, I love the holiday season. Oof. But we're back, I guess, with our final episode of 2021, and we do have a special guest on the show today. We'll just kind of get right into it because we don't have much to really talk about in terms of news. We're just going to get into our special oppa. Our friend of the show, Chris Brown, is joining us once again on the show to go over our top 10s of the year. Hey, Chris.
Hey, I'm excited to be here and share my top 10 and hear all of your top 10s.
I think it's going to be interesting because I think we have some similarities in our top, Ginny, and then our bottoms are like weird, but we'll get into it. It's been kind of we do have some similar tastes in music, which is probably why we do gel so well, Ginny. But I know I was trying to also fart over I think I had 19 albums in consideration for my top 10 this year, so it was figuring out which one's the best, and trying to sort them and stuff. And it was just it was a chore this year for me. So figure out which ones I wanted to give props to. And I know my boyfriend was like, we should do a tie. I'm like, no, I'm not doing a tie, especially when it's considering it's a full album I'm talking about. So I tried to not do ties.
Yeah, trying our best is not to give ties, even though promises cannot be made. But I was saying before we recorded, is if we have the time, is we maybe make our own award show, and then we have different categories, and then give the grand prizes to this group for the year.
Maybe we'll have to do that next year. Right around the end of the year.
We can organize it early. I'll design the trophies and
actually plan this out. Maybe actually plan our stuff out earlier in advance, because sometimes we just fly by the seat of our pants on the show, I swear. But
right.
Sometimes I plan, sometimes I don't. Depends. But I think it's gonna be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun kind of going back in time and talking about some stuff. I got a bunch of honorable mentions to talk about too that I just either missed out on my top 10 or some albums that I feel just definitely deserve to be still talked about this year, because I felt they were really, really good and I kept going back to them. So as well as some singles. Both me and Ginny, I know, had some just some one-off singles to talk about as well. Because sometimes the album's not good, but sometimes that one title track is just so good that we have to talk about it. So we definitely have a few of those on our list as well, but those are just kind of sitting in our honorable mentions, I feel like. So but we'll get into those when we get into those. So I guess I don't know. I don't know how your criteria is, Chris, trying to come out, because I know your listening habits are a little different than ours, because you tend to lean a little more towards the girl groups than Ginny and I do. So
yeah, that's true. I don't know. I find I don't know. For me, I find there's more melody within the girls groups, and also with the guys, it's I don't know. A lot of the time, at least some of the guys in the group sing at this sort of medium mid-range tone that I can't just stand. It's just just maybe certain notes that they're at that just and maybe it's just too clean or something, but it's just I can't get into it. Plus the nasal raps kind of those nasal rap. I know all the groups don't do that, but the ones that do just kind of turn me away. But again, this list is just personal opinions. Stuff that's on my list may fly over your heads, may not be something you're interested in. So I'm still curious to hear what you guys say.
Yeah, but you do bring up a lot of like interesting girl groups that we haven't heard or talked about before, and then we do like take chances and they're like, oh yeah, I love like this one group. I think you probably mentioned them. That I was like really interested in their music. It's like, wow, this this beat is really catchy and it's very exciting. Like how the production is made to it. So yeah, I mean, like what you do, like just keep going with keep going what you do, and then let's help share each other's like their music.
A lot of the time it can just be random finds, and then I kind of base off like, is the melody, the production, is the song kind of consistent throughout? And does it have lasting power, especially for songs that kind of started off at maybe towards the earlier part of the year? Like, does it stick around? And if it does, maybe that is why it's kind of higher on my list, or had to get in that. And I do have two. I did have to throw in two ties, but they were just for ones that would be doubled up. I have them a certain band twice on the list, and that's the only times I have ties.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was trying really hard with one of my favorite bands and trying to also sort through which album's the best, and I didn't want to tie because I swear to God, every one of their albums keeps getting better and better and better, and I don't want to be that fan. I don't want to be that fan, and I'm sure y'all know which band I'm talking about because y'all know me. Let's just get into it. Let's get into our top tens. And since you're our guest, Chris, let's have you start off, I guess, with your number 10 pick of the year.
Sure, and I think Ginny knows. Well, Ginny knows my list, but I don't think you do. So
I don't think I do. No, so I'm going to get surprises here. So
all right, so we'll start things off with number 10. I've done twice the Feels. I chose this one. Really, there were a number of songs that could have fit in number 10. I was really running through quite a few. Because everything else on the list was pretty solid on the list, and number 10 was a spot that kept changing quite a bit. But I kind of stuck with this one mostly because of kind of the bass line on it. It was a really catchy number that I kept in my playlist for running and exercising. I think it's the only one on my list that's completely in English. So that kind of gets a nod as well, just for how tough that's got to be for a group to sing in a second language, or for some of them maybe a third language. So number 10, twice the Feels.
Nice.
Yeah, apparently my sister told me that they had a Korean version, which I didn't hear yet, or didn't look for it yet, but. I forgot what she said. I think I don't know if a Korean flowed better, in that language, or the English was better. So, we'll probably go check it out and see how it sounds like.
I think it also helps sometimes when they do have the English versions. It's usually a translated version of the original, and it comes off awkward or kind of just it doesn't flow as well because they're trying to stuff a word in there. But this time, I think it was originally English, so it kind of did well enough on its own.
That's always the tricky part when they have those especially because I see that happens a lot with the Japanese releases, and then they release them into Korean. Sometimes that translation, it's I think a little easier because of the language similarities, but sometimes that flow, or even when they go Korean to Japanese, sometimes.
So you have to figure out the syllables and stuff. Okay, how is this going to snap, 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 snap? Okay, how is this going to work? And then they're trying to fit this much into so much space, but it worked with the number 10. Nice. All right, on to number 9. Now this is the one spot that I included a song that wasn't a single. but I had to include it in here. Is number 9 is I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right. Mamamoo.
Yep, you got it right.
All right, Destiny Part 2. It was kind of the end song to their EP from earlier this year. And it was just a kind of an emotional powerhouse of a song that kind of stuck with me over these couple months. It was just a just nicely done song, like everything blended well together. Even the semi-rap section was kind of done tastefully instead of, what could have been very jarring if they had tried to throw in like a rap verse. But instead it flowed quite well. And and that's one big on, like, does it flow well? Does it all kind of come together? And kind of having that emotional heft as well within the song really kept it on my radar throughout the year.
Yeah. I remember that album, that Mamamoo album being pretty good, that being a little bit more of a solo album, but having a lot of emotional impact too, which, I mean, a lot of Mamamoo typically does, I feel like, especially for me. And that's a really good song, especially the fact that it's, a B-side compared to the title track. To resonate so hard. That is on top 10 too.
And perhaps just from my, from what I listened to, I don't hear that many songs in this genre that kind of have that emotional impact. Or even if I do, sometimes, at the end of an LP, a group will, or an EP, group will throw in like a slow song or something. But it's just kind of, run of the numbers sort of thing. But this one kind of hit differently. So that's why it made my list. All right. Right. Number 8, my girls, Itzy, Loco, made my list. I was, when their EP came out back in March, it was okay EP, but nothing that kind of blew me away. So when the LP came out, I guess like 3 months ago or so, that stayed on rotation for quite a while. And even songs that like originally I wasn't too interested in, like kind of the middle part of the album that was a bit more, 80s kind of hip hop influenced, like I grew to really enjoy. But of course, I'm sticking with kind of the title track, or at least the main single, Loco. And I guess it's just a fun track. And really the only reason it's a bit lower is because the production's a bit overly loud, which I kind of cut down points for, which is also a problem with Twice as well. Just that the production's a little too loud, and you can really hear it when you have it mixed with other songs in a playlist. It's like, ooh, it jumps up a couple decibels. But like the whole song's just a lot of fun, and really, that's what that's what you can ask for. So that's what I got. Yeah.
That's a legit choice, and I think part of that, because you're talking with them going up and both Twice and Itzy, that might be part of just JYP in general, because they're both from the same company, and they tend to have that more poppier, like kind of loud noise.
Like they're really energetic and like vibrant with their productions. Yeah, it's pretty much a standard like thing with JYP.
Yeah,
I even see that with Stray Kids too.
Right.
Yeah, I think with the kind of past Itzy albums, their production had been better. Maybe not on the last EP, but like their previous EPs before that. I know it's like better production, or it's like, or less overproduction. But that loudness is there. But I really enjoyed the song. I really enjoyed the LP as well. A lot of versatility and diversity on that LP. So cheers to them. Right, number 7 is my newest find, Dreamcatcher, because I only discovered this maybe like 2 weeks ago. So maybe if it had some time to stew throughout the year, it'd be higher on the list. I don't know.
Maybe.
But it's this cool blend of like, I don't know, kind of almost new metal, alt metal, kind of a Latin sound as well, mixed with kind of the K-pop vibe, which I was really digging. So yeah, I had to throw that on my list when I found it. Kind of threw everything to the wind when I went, just like, in December when I'm coming up with my list. And that's like, oh, okay, this one's gonna make the list. Where is it gonna fit? So. But I knew I had to have it on there, and I really have to dive into this group's category a whole lot deeper. Yeah, if they're anything like this single, the rest of their catalog's anything like that single.
Which single did you put on there?
Because.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because I like you. Do 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 do. So on and so forth.
No, Dreamcatcher is one of those still, I think, highly underrated groups out there.
Yeah, and they're like the ones like the most different from out of all like K-pop groups, because I feel I always compare them to like the Evanescence of K-pop, because they have that like
very much
metal neo metal vibe.
Yes.
And I knew you would like that type of music, so I'm kind of surprised, like, wow, I can't believe you've like caught on to them recently. So hopefully you can be able to explore a lot of their music after this.
Yeah, I'd say definitely go back into their back catalog. I highly recommend like Boca and Fury, and a lot of like their older singles are super good. Their albums are fantastic. So highly recommend. Also, I was also super excited because I was just at C2E2 Chicago Comic Entertainment Expo a couple weeks ago, and I actually saw their Late Stick in the Wilds by an artist. He apparently is his lucky charm. He has their light stick, the full on staff.
Yeah, you should like buy those light sticks, because they're like a full on Gandalf like magic staff, not like those regular light sticks. It's like a full on staff. Like,
well, there you go. I mean, I'm just saying, if their stuff is anything, the rest of their stuff is as good as this, I might become one of those. I don't know what their fans are called.
What is that? Oh my God, what is their fandom name? I was like, no, that's not the. Oh, what is their fandom name now? I am gonna lose my mind, because one of my really really good friends is a huge Dreamcatcher fan. So, and she's gonna kill me because I don't know what they are now. Off the top of my head, what is their fandom name? Insomnia.
Insomnia
is their fandom name.
Okay. That's a very fitting that's a very fitting band name.
Mm-hmm.
They have like this merch where it's like a huge, like an ancient cloak, so it goes hand in hand with like the staff. So if you guys like go to the concert, it's gonna be like a cult ritual.
Okay. Yes, very much so. It's a lot of like different like darkness and fears and stuff in their music and stuff. So it's I kind of love that darker take to stuff. So that's why I love kind of like the new metal-esque sound to it. So but you all should really go stand Dreamcatcher. They're super super good. That's why if they're going to be on the new season, if they're going to be on the new season of Queendom, I'm really going to be voting for them.
Okay. So, I'm digging them so far.
Yeah, so we'll see if it happens with that. But yeah, no, it's a good choice. Good pick.
All right. Number 6 may be one neither of you know, but we're going from Dreamcatcher to Dream Note with a single Ghost. And this was just kind of a random find I came across. I think it was around Halloween, so I decided to check it out. Yeah. And it's just kind of a really catchy, surprisingly like less produced type of song. It doesn't have that like bombastic sound. It's kind of pretty mild, but it has this kind of like grungy bass line throughout it that really like drew me in, and kind of this like howling verse or howling chorus that's I really dug. So I definitely recommend you guys checking it out.
I think you tagged me or you tagged us with this song before, but I don't remember. I think with that title, it sounds really familiar to me, and I really dig the sound from the song.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect you guys to know everything that pops up on my list, but definitely, check it out and, decide for yourself. It's a fun one.
Might have to check that one out then. Might have to.
It also just kind of caught my attention because it just seems like it might not be, but it does sound like they're actually using like real instruments or like live instruments, I should say, a bit more than a lot of K-pop songs, especially with the drums. All right, on to the top 5, and number 5 is my first tie, and for the artist that makes it on this list twice, I'll just mention them and move on. But number 5 is Yukika with Secret. I had a hard time choosing which one, and this, I guess, is not really a single at all, but I had to include it because it was my favorite song off her EP earlier this year. It was great. Just kind of this little like bouncy little tune, great, very like lush production, and just like a lot of fun. And it came out in March, had lasting power throughout the year. So glad I was able to discover her, and she's kept coming out with numerous singles throughout the year. And yeah, so I had to include her on my list, and I tied that with Pixies' Bewitched. Who will show up again later on this list. All right. Yeah. So I have for number 5.
Yeah, I'm such a big fan of Yukika. I really owe it to my sister for showing me her music first. So, yeah, I kind of knew like you would like the kind of like the city retro pop of with her music. So. Yeah, I'm glad that she's not on your list. I wish I remembered to include her, but yeah, the thing that you gave like so much recognition to her.
Yeah, she does a great job blending like city pop, J-pop, K-pop, disco, like all these different genres together. Works well.
She's got a beautiful vocal like quality to her stuff too, and that just makes it such a joy to like really. It's a joy. And for lack of a better term, to listen to, because I remember the few stuff of you I've listened to because of either Ginny or you, Chris, recommending to me, I've quite enjoyed. So I keep forgetting to like keep putting her on my playlist, and I need to definitely do that because I do enjoy her city pop sound. So.
Do it now. Something for the trip to your parents. Put on that. Something for the ride.
You just pretend you're like in the opening of an anime, like the combining anime.
Feel like that,
as I usually do quite a bit as I'm listening to music. What? No.
All right. At number 4, another tie, and my only other tie between I have Luna with Hula Hoop. And that was just kind of a fun one. I enjoyed. It's pretty simple, pretty straight beat. I think it's a Japanese single. And it's just kind of sweet and fun and kind of silly too. It was just like so happy and joyful. I couldn't help but, but love it. And kind of like the other single that Luna put out, it was fine, but it didn't really keep my attention throughout the rest of the year. But this just kind of simple little like kind of Japanese single they threw out there in the middle of the year was just something that kind of stayed on rotation throughout the year. Just kind of fun, dancey J-pop sort of tune. And that was tied with Everglow's Pirate, which probably could have made the top 3. The only thing that holds it back was the I'm the pirate part kind of cringe a little bit with the vocal fry. Okay. But the rest of the song is great, especially because it just transitions into so many different sections. There's so much going on with that song that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I think it only came out like a month ago or less than a month ago. And
this month,
been on my playlist.
I think we just reviewed it an episode or 2 ago, Jenny?
We did, and we pretty much were like the same opinion as you.
Yeah, that pirate line that I'm a
I'm a pirate.
the shiver me timbers line killed me.
Oh,
I think that's what they said.
yeah,
Because I'm like,
Yeah.
me timbers. Yeah.
because I was like, not even ATs, and their whole concept as pirates hasn't even done anything like that. So I was just like, oof.
Wait for it, Jenny. Don't say that they haven't done it yet, but
don't,
I'm gonna jinx.
don't,
No,
don't
but
jinx
It
but
may
it.
be coming. It
yeah,
may be coming
it's
to
coming.
ATs.
But yeah, pretty
I'm
much
gonna
like
make it
the
cute.
I'm a pirate is like it's so out of place. Like, and I don't know, like could have like done something more with that. I really love their chorus, like the even the pre-chorus, like the girls all over the world. And then,
Yes.
yeah, I wish they could have
Well, I
done like
really
more
love
with
the part
the.
after.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
really love the part after the pirate part, which is kind of this like Bollywood sort of melody. It's like
Hmm.
da da da
yeah,
da 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 da.
Yeah, like the dance break to it is like it's really catchy and really impactful, and that's fun. But yeah, this I'm a pirate. Just vocalization, just a tad bit off.
Yeah, the
yeah,
vocal
and it's
fry. I
also
think is
Perfect.
good.
yeah, and it's oh yeah. Speaking of, and it's funny how you say it like has like a Bollywood theme because that song even came out at the same time as the other group I've which also who also has like a
Hmm.
Bollywood theme in their song 11. Um, yeah,
Yes.
it's very interesting how like they both come up with like similar themes, kind of like same thing with NCT and ATs. So yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, it's a very interesting like release with like similar themes to each other.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it just feels like how do they plan this, but sometimes it's just very coincidental. So yeah,
Yeah,
I was very Bollywood S vibes that week between Ive and
and
Everglow, but between
Everglow.
those singles, yeah.
All right, all right. On to the top three. The top three. Number three is just one of those random finds. Again, it's a Try B with Would You Run, and it's like this mix of kind of that black pink sort of like
Oh yeah,
kind of Middle Eastern kind of sound, along with kind of a more like J-pop type of chorus to it. So it mixes in pretty well. It's a lot of fun straight through, and it's just. And I heard it, I just kept playing it over and over. It's like one of the few songs that I've just been. It's been like over, just repeat several times in a row. Just the production is great with it, and I think everyone holds it down pretty well. Yeah, I have to keep an eye on this group.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's one of
I've
the
been
people
meaning.
that you yeah.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Jenny.
No, that's one of the other videos that you tagged us with, and then I think I saw. Yeah, I remembered really enjoying the song too. And
Hmm.
you're right on the ball with the YG like Blackpink standard sound,
Yes.
like where they always like relying on like the Middle Eastern Bollywood type of like um like production into like their into their music. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And also to know too, Tribe just literally debuted this year, so this is a very, very new girl group. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I haven't had a
Mhm.
chance to really actually get into them much. But they have the one that's kind of been floating on like the side of my radar. So and actually, when you tagged it, I actually watched the music video yesterday because I was actually blown away. I was like, oh, okay, I need to get on this like quicker because this was a lot of fun because it definitely had that Blackpink vibe that I really enjoy, but almost in a better way because it wasn't as like westernized. I felt like as Blackpink has gotten, because it still had those like elements, yeah, of J-pop, of K-pop in it, and I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed the production and the music video of the
Mm-hmm.
song itself. It just had a lot of fun energy to it, and I definitely need to look into them further.
Yeah, they went all out with the music video. Actually, a couple did with the Everglow as well. Both their
Yeah.
big music videos this year. So they
Hmm.
they went all out. Kudos to the director of those MVs.
Hmm.
All right. On to number 2, the top 2. Number 2 is Pixie with Addicted. This was also a random find, I guess. And then when I did kind of, I guess, share it, there's I think, so one of you compared it to Dreamcatcher a bit, because there's this kind of like
that
horror
was me.
theme to it a bit, or kind of like mystical horror, I guess, to it. And it's just like just a really good, besides it being like a great music video as well, it's just extremely catchy and kind of one of the better, I think, rap verses I've heard throughout the year. Or I guess it's 2 rap verses, and probably some of the better I've heard this year. Yeah, I think just the video really complements the song, and that really helped me connect with the song. And yeah, that's why it's my number 2. I think kind of also the offbeats of that part, like I'm addicted. It's like on the evens, so it's kind of like it kind of like throws you off, but kind of catches your attention with like how it's being sung. Yeah, I love it. It's also like my number 4 song of the year in total.
Yeah, Pixie's another girl group that debuted this year, and I remember catching them on music shows. And when I first saw them, I was definitely getting some Dreamcatcher vibes when I saw them. I was like, oh, there's another girl group out there that's hopefully kind of also jumping kind of in that same like kind of rockish vein. Although I haven't checked out the latest comeback, still need to do that. But that's why I threw the Dreamcatcher comparison your way when you posted that on Facebook. So.
Yeah, definitely check out both those singles, the Addicted and Bewitched, both the music videos as well. That's a horror themed, and like probably the Addicted MV is my favorite music video of the year. It's just like so well done. Like, a lot of creative thought went into it. So yeah, my number 2. And then my number 1. Here we go. Here's my number 1. Everglow's First. That makes my number 1.
I know.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
I mean, it was always kind of floating around the top. And I think what helps kind of cement it at the top is that it's had lasting power since whenever it came out, probably in May, maybe early summer or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's had that kind of lasting power, and I really enjoyed it when it came out, and still like kind of when it plays again, it feels fresh. It's very like cinematic at the beginning too, with kind of all these like violins and strings coming in, and chorus is catchy. It's a lot of fun, different things getting thrown at you. Just kind of very odd, like Deck the Halls type of melody. I think through the chorus, it's kind of wild, but. Yeah, it stuck with me throughout the year, and that's why it made my number 1.
Are you gonna listen to it during Christmas?
I should. This should be a remix or something, just like with like sleigh bells or something.
Some like epic holiday remix of First.
Oh yeah, I know what I'm gonna play for Christmas. Oh yeah, but. I'm down. I'm with you there, Chris. At first, like, it was one of the surprising songs I've heard this year. It's because it's, like the performance and even the music itself is so reminiscent to like a lot of current boy bands. That is what I've been like asking for with a lot of girl groups. So it's like you can like try out like a lot more complex like dance performances and like really hard hitting beats like this. And Everglow really delivered on that on my prayers. So thank you, Everglow.
Yeah, they went hard on the rap part too. It was just like they kind of like dropped the beat, and it's just it's pretty insane that like second verse.
Yeah, even the outro dance too was like, oh, like that went like, damn, it was like such a badass, like such a badass dance. I kind of wanted to like practice the like, Everglow's choreography for First.
Yeah, it looked nuts.
I know when it came out back in, I think it was in May when it came out. I remember it hit me hard. I was just like, whoa, this is awesome. Like I was just so impressed because it kind of picked like my favorite parts of what I like about some of my favorite, fourth gen boy groups like ATEEZ and Stray Kids, and then that noise genre, and then applied it to girl group. And you showed you can do that with a girl group and you can still make it work in that, in the girl group side of things too. So I'm hoping like more girl groups can maybe go take that aspect, take those risks. Because I feel like that's a really cool, refreshing take on girl group music besides a lot of the bubblegum stuff. Because I tend to like not go towards a lot of the bubblegum cutesy things. I like to kind of have stuff that's a little bit more aggressive with my taste, if you can't tell. So that's why I think, First was one of the songs this year that just blew me away from first listen.
Yeah, and so first makes my first place, and that's I didn't know if it would, but it did. I was kind of debating between at least the top two. So, but Everglow kind of edged it out, and here we are.
Nice.
Very nice.
Do you have any honorable mentions that you can think of?
I think there was like a G Idol song near the beginning of the year that I kind of enjoyed.
Oh.
I think it was like, what was it called?
Is it Han or something? Or
something
Hua.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great song.
Unfortunately, Soojin. This is like Soojin's last song with them.
Come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
For all that, before the bullying scandal that rock K-pop in, God, what was that, February, March?
Because in like the beginning of the year, it was like a bunch of like bullying scandals, just like left and right. Like, I don't know which is real or not, but
it hit a lot of groups.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So a lot going on in that world, huh? All right.
Oh, it was a mess.
Man, if we're forever become idols, like I don't think I would last because like someone would like expose like some of like my like former past. Like I don't know if what I if I ever did wrong, but if it's like someone's still pissed at me, she did this to me.
Oh yeah. One person, I guess, saying one thing. It's like go through your history. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm done.
So.
My career's done.
Also, it's ridiculous how like that stuff is still coming up, especially with Hyunjin from Stray Kids. It's like still coming up. It's like it's over.
Yeah, it's a good thing that no one's like paying attention to it now. It's like it's done. Like just move on.
So like it's especially at least on the on the international side of things, like the international fans are paying attention to it. I know the Korean fans are more paying attention to it because I know it's a bigger impact to the Korean fans because there is a huge deal with bullying over in Korea, but it's two different sides of the fandoms basically having to hash it out right now. So I don't know how. Also, people I think just antis just wanting to still to grab on anything and everything for the groups they hate because people do that. I don't know for whatever reason, but I guess. Yeah, no, I love your list, Chris. That's a really awesome list of eclectic list of stuff I gotta go check out now.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go check out Dream Note for sure. Just kind of actually listening to a little bit as we were recording here, and I was like, okay, I kind of vibe with this a little bit. And like I said, I need to go check out Tribe a little bit more too.
Yeah, the Dream Note's the one that kind of sounds like 2000 pop, sort of in a way.
Mm-hmm.
More than like an actual K-pop song. It just sounds kind of like just a pop song almost.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think I could get my pen just for your list. See if anything catches my ear, my eye.
Well, we'll see, because, I mean, like I said, me and Ginny have a lot of similarities on our lists that we've compared with, although our bottom 2, 3 might be different, but our top, 7, 8 are, very similar, although the visions might change.
I'm pleasantly surprised at, your pick, because I was, reading over. But I was about to say, Pixie and Tribe can be, really good, strong nominees for, the next best new female artist for next year. So
I'll
probably keep an eye out.
Essentially, we'll see if they. I'm sorry, they potentially they get nominated this year because they could have been running for this year because they debuted pretty early, 2021, so they weren't in nominations for this year, unfortunately.
Yeah, IVE could be like a strong contender too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or
So
Kepler.
I think IVE might be a really strong contender for a new girl group 22. So your eyes on IVE. All right, how do you want to do this, Jenny? How do you want to do our list? Because we've.
Oh yeah, okay. Because I know we have like something similar. So should I go first, or yeah, I think I should like go first.
Do you want to go first?
I'll try my best to like just like break down the best that I can, and maybe you can like jump in if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and then I guess I'll go over mine.
Yeah. How I tried my best to like not do tie times. Well, too bad because top 10 is tie time between Wonho with his album Love Synonym number 2, Right for Us, long ass title, I know. I just really enjoy, like I'm really glad to see Wonho, even though he's not in Monster X anymore. I'm glad to see him like really successful in his solo career, and hopefully it'll last long, and then he'll have like a long and successful career.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed his next or his second solo work with this, because it brings a lot of like the electronic synthesizer Europop that it kind of reminds me a lot of like the music from the movie Drive. So that could, like, if you haven't heard it yet, that could probably give you a bit of an expectation of what you can hear from this album. My recommended songs from that album would be Loose, that would be his title track, Devil, and Best Shot, which I think the third track has like some more of a 2000s R&B type of vibe that is like Justin Timberlake, like reminiscent to Justin Timberlake's music back into the 2000s.
Yeah, I remember that being very much like that.
Along with Wonho's album along in the top 10, I also placed NCT with their joint collab together from different subunits, so called Nct Universe. I was a bit nervous when they're going again with like another joint effort together after like the success with the Resonance albums, but turns out I really enjoyed the songs that they had here in the new album this December. My recommended songs here would be the title track Universe, Let's Play Ball. The other track, New Axis, has like a lot of like great hip hop, jabs between or turns between Taeyong, Mark, and Yang Yang from Wavy. Another track, Okay, which is more of like a modern hip hop trap, like kind of reminds me of Pop Smoke, the late Pop Smoke. Birthday Party feels more like a mainstream hip hop pop music, and Round and Round, which feels more of like a house, like more like a house, like electronic Europop type of sound. A lot of great like beats from like coming from like the old school rap and hip hop spanning from the 90s to the 2000s. So I feel like NCT is really great in making like similar sounds, but fusing with like the modern K-pop beat into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, I figured I had a feeling you're gonna probably throw this on here somewhere, even though it just came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I mean, I'm no lie. New Axis has been one of my jams as of late too, because I just love that really aggressive hip hop, in your face hip hop that New Axis is, and that's definitely way up there for me. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, it really hits hard, especially when taking turns from Mark, and then Taeyong, and then Yang Yang, like they'll have like their different different vocalizations in terms of like their rap, how they rap. So it's such a great mix between them, and it doesn't like feel jarring to me.
Exactly. Do you want me to go into doing my number 10, or do you want to keep going?
Sure. That'll be neat though. So you can like have your own top 10.
Okay. So for my number 10 pick, I picked the album that came out, and actually this is a repackaged album that came out towards the end of summer here. It's Surrounded by Togethers, the Chaos Chapter, Fight or Escape. And the reason I picked the repackage versus the original album is because I had to include the title track of that album, Loser Equals Lover. I really do love how mid 2000s emo that song is, because it's very, very much in like the like pop punk emo, like mid to late aughts sound. Works just amazing with the vocalizations, especially with Taehoon, and Taehoon's vocalizations are quite amazing. Like that gravelly voice he somehow acquires in it it catches me for guard all the time. I still can't get over the fact that Subin literally curses in the song. He literally drops F bombs. But yeah, it's even overall for repackage, it's an amazing repackage. I mean, the Chaos Chapter, the first part of the Chaos Chapter era for them was Freeze was amazing too. I mean, the songs off of that one, some of my pick choices from this album, 0 times 1 equals Love Song, I Know I Love You, which was that title track, Magic, Dear Sputnik, and Frost. I mean, a lot of these kind of still fit into like that, like kind of early to odds, like kind of pop sound a little bit. 0 times 1 equals Love Song, I Know I Love You definitely still has a little bit of that emo alt sound to it too. Not as aggressive as Loser Equals Lover, but it's still in that same kind of vein that just really resonated in me, kind of make me go back to my middle school, high school days. And it's just really, really good. Magic also being their first English single, and also has these great early 2000s boy band vibes to it too. So
very My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, like other examples from them.
Yeah, a little bit, but Magic is definitely like very boy band-ish. So they're still playing with like some of the pop sounds too, even though they're kind of doing some more alt rock inspired vibes with it too. And then there's just something really just something that comes together so amazing on Dear Sputnik that just blew me away, just how put together that song is. And it gets me every time in the feels. And just the driving guitars and instrumentation on that. And then the final track, Frost, and I said this even too during the Mama performance of Frost, because I love the like kind of darker tint you get with the vocalizations and the music, and there's something very sinister underlying with the song, with the rap underbeats to it that I really, really love, that puts you on edge, and it's just like, yeah, and it just brings together at the end to all this like chaos that's happening. So they put out some really good music this year, Tomorrow together, and are continuing to showcase why they're one of the top 4th gen groups, and are really kind of going into like this really interesting like alt rock pop sound that I kind of dig. So
yeah. I agree with you, even though it's not part of my list. It's I can really see how you like, like you're really nostalgic with like the emotional very like it's really like an emotional like tinge with how they deliver with with this type of concept. So, and they really did well on that.
Yeah, they really, really nailed it. So what was your number 9, Ginny?
My number 9, scrolling up here, would be kind of funny how it's still related with Wonho, because it's his former group Monsta X with No Limit. This one was like came out I think a month ago or so. This one was like a surprising one for me, because when they came up with their title track Rush Hour, no relation to the movie, it went hard. Like it was like a return of like that standard Monsta X sound, and I love how they still really brought out that, that type of noise and aggression, even without like, some of their members missing, because, some of them are in the military. So I'm really happy that like Juhan, who really carried the raps, and even I.M really held it down with this song. My other recommended tracks from there would be Autobahn, Ride With You, and Got Me in Chains, and Mercy. So yeah, recommend if you like really aggressive type of like hip hop electronic sound, you can go check out Monster X. I wonder, yeah. I was about to say also was like some of the tracks kind of also has like that that tinge of that the Europop, like the electronic sound to it, kind of like drives music in the movie. So I like how there's like a bit of connection between Wonho's and even Monster X's. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it was really nice to see them kind of go back to like a return to form almost a little bit, like some of their earlier Monster X. So really did appreciate how that was and how that sounded. And yeah, it's now that blew me away too. It didn't make my top 10, but it's actually sitting in my honorable mentions. So because it was such a really great album. And yeah, Mama Bay's I totally understand. And like kind of this way it like makes me kind of flirt to be on like Mamba Bay's stand status. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, totally. And especially it was just the five of them holding it down right now. That's pretty impressive. Also considering they released this and then now have also just recently released an English album on top of this too. They've had a very insane end of the year for Monster X. So.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're really successful with this. I think they had like other albums or EPs months ago, but I think this one is like the most successful and the one that I really like the most from Monster X. So yeah, good for them. Like good that they're still having that recognition to this day.
Okay, well, I guess my number 9, and this one was a tough one for me because I was literally sitting through and trying to flip back and forth between which. No, I was trying to flip back and forth between which album is, honestly, which one of their albums are the best this year, because all three of them have been fantastic this year. And yeah, and I honestly, when it all came said and done, I had to go with their most recent album. And who I'm talking about is I'm talking about, of course, my boys 80s. And I'm talking about their most recent album, Zero Fever Epilogue. And the reason why I'm picking Epilogue over part 2 and part 3, as much as I do really love part 2 and part 3, is just because I think this kind of serves as a great sampler of like everything that they can do in their sound and their style, as well as everything they've done in 2021 in general. As well as, like I said, it's a great endpoint to this whole chapter, this whole era, this Zero Fever era that we've seen in their music when I talked about it in our episode last week. And I mean, with the 2 title tracks, Turbulence and the real Hang version, I mean, 2 vastly different title tracks, Turbulence being a very more somber, more instrument driven title track, which something you don't see a lot with the 4th gen boy groups. You see obviously a lot more noise, especially with them at the 80s. You'd see a lot more, they're definitely more in the electronic noise camp, but this definitely plays more into the instrumentation and really showcases the vocals, especially the vocal line. I think obviously Jong Ho's vocals stand out, as well as Songhwa, even Yoon Ho's vocals stand out super well in this title track. And then you go the opposite direction with the real Hyung version, and it's super aggressive in your face, playing with the Korean instrumentation. It's super trap heavy, and it just shows the different duality, the major duality that ATEEZ has. And other tracks that I recommend off of Fever Epilogue, the second track, Be With You, another very slower more melancholy song that has a lot of emotional impact to it as well. I do have to give major props to the Korean version of Still Here, which is a Korean retranslation of the Japanese single Still Here, which is one of the better I've seen Japanese to Korean translations, as well as the fact that it was amazing that they were able to get Mingi back on that track, since in the Japanese version, Mingi was on his hiatus at that point and therefore wasn't on the original track. So love how they were able to combine them in there. And then I have to give a shout out then to the three Kingdom tracks that they put on the album too: the Wave Overture, Wonderland, Symphony Number 9, From the Wonderland, and Answer Ode to Joy. The fact that they pulled the Taylor Swift on Mnet and were able to put Mingy on those tracks, because Mingy again was on hiatus at that point when they were competing at Kingdom, and be able to re-release those for A-Tinny were a great gift, as well as just the fact that they're almost very cinematic in a way, with the combination of how Edenary, their production team, were able to combine classical music with their previous songs, especially Wonderland and Answer. And it's some of the most creative remixing I've seen with music in a while. So I think that's why these productions blew me away when they performed them on Kingdom. And to actually hear the music now and to dig deeper into the music, like, it still blows me away how much that combination of classical into K-pop and how well they blended together to make this almost like cinematic, like soundtrack-esque sound, almost to like a movie with these tracks on there. So
yeah, it feels like a very very like a lardscape and very fitting of like a swashbuckling genre, for AT. It's not because they have a pirate concept, but they're props to Hongjung, and just a lot of them are like producers, or like they help make the songs and make the music, and just to see them produce that kind of like a large scope type of feel to their music is very impressive.
Yeah, and that's why it kind of edged out Zero Fever Part 2 for me and Zero Fever Part 3, even though both those albums were quite amazing this year. I just find it crazy how they keep getting better and better and better with every album they release, and makes me super excited to see what is on the horizon for 2022 with them.
Oh, yeah.
So. But with that, I think at this point, I think we're starting to get into a little matchy, aren't we, Ginny?
Oh yeah, definitely. I just saw the 8th place. Top 8 for me and Jenny's top 10 would be Baekhyun's Bambi, or Bambi is how you pronounce but
the Korean version, the Korean pronunciation.
If you guys don't know, it's like a play on with the words night and rain, which is like a very cool, or like a very cool creative way to put it, because wow, it's such an ambient but also such a sensual theme that he's done with this album, and it really showcased Baekhyun's strength with this with his vocal range. He's like one of the strongest vocalists in all of K-pop, and this album really shined with his talents, and it also brings his voice to being a perfect fit with such a sultry, passionate R&B genre. My favorite tracks from there, not just the Bambi title track, but I really love that song All I Got.
Oh yeah, no, those are amazing. And I have to throw in there also Amusement Park, which technically he released before the album came out, but I really do love kind of the Calliope backing to that, just again with his sultry voice that he has with this. And then the song Cry for Love, there's just something really mesmerizing about that song that I really, really enjoyed. So that's why, Bambi stuck with me for a long time, because this he released before he went into the military back in early spring. So this one stuck around for a while.
What was the name of that last song?
Cry for Love.
Oh, Cry for Love. Okay.
Yes, Cry for Love.
It sounded like you said Cracker Love. I was like, okay.
Oh, no. Cry for Love.
Sure.
Cry for
Why
Love.
not?
Cracker Love. I would love to hear that from Exo.
Crackers need
Cracker
love
Love.
too, I guess, you know.
Wouldn't surprise me if there was a song called that eventually, but I digress.
I don't know, God, who's gonna like pick that title, but yeah, I even got like one of my friends like really into Baekhyun. I think that's one of like the songs I introduced him was All I Got, and he's like, yeah, like okay, yeah, I like this guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, Baekhyun's just got that amazing quality, like that he can do this like very sultry, not quite sensual because I don't think it's sensual on a different level, I think, than
I think
most people think.
okay, like, I would be probably Kai's type of field,
Right.
but yeah, with Baekhyun, it's like it will be like a great mood for you to like when your significant other to like get into the mood during the night. So I think that Bambi would have been like a strong choice with that.
Yes. So, yeah, it was an amazing album. Honestly, it was an amazing album. It blew me away when it came out, like the early spring, I think. So.
Oh yeah.
And then I think our number 7 this is both of our number 7s. If I remember correctly.
Oh my God,
Keys.
we're still Keys.
We're still tied. We're tied here for a while, guys. I will let you know that for some reason we tied, and I don't know how, but we did.
Are you sure you weren't looking at my notes?
I was looking at them a little bit, but then I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. Even before I started to make my list, I was like, no, these are all in my top 10s, legitly in my top 10s. So I'm not gonna lie, they were
twins.
But it's Keys' Bad Love, which came out back in August, I believe. But there's something, this is his first solo album, especially post-military, because, and he delivered on this with this, especially with the title track Bad Love, with this like very 80s, synth-driven, like almost like it's not even power ballady, but it's like just very synth driven, like heartbreak of a song. But it's just so it works with his falsetto and it shows his vocal range because most people know Key is a more of a rapper than in Shiny, but it really showcases his vocal range, especially his falsetto. This whole entire album.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just that 80s sound and that very retro sound he has throughout this whole entire album really stuck out with me, and how it just really grabbed me, especially with the concept, like the art concept and the album concept with this like very retro sci-fi.
60s, yeah, like a 60s sci-fi environment.
So
yeah, even the title track and even some of like the tracks there, which I recommended, Yellow Tape and Helium, which are one of my favorite songs in there. I feel like his project with Bad Love, it feels like a love letter to classic pop artists such as Lady Gaga, Madonna, because I know Key is very into like the Western pop scene. I know he's talked a lot about his influences during his early Shiny days, and how much he enjoys like listening to like American pop songs. So it feels very inspired with these songs together.
Yeah, and then I also have to throw a recommendation out there for Hate That, which is featuring Taeyeon.
Oh yeah.
Just from Girls' Generation, like that's just their vocals work together so well, and it's again in that similar almost pop vocalization, that pop genre, but it's a really good song, a really driving song, and I really enjoyed it. So
yeah.
And just to jump in real quick, I just gotta let you know I gotta head out in a few minutes. Gotta pick up some food and stuff for tomorrow that we ordered. Yeah.
I can have you do your plug, or do we have to have you plug yourself before you go?
Oh, sure. I guess I don't have too much to plug, but I guess it'd be if you could follow me on Facebook, Chris Brown, or Instagram, which I should get back on, the good Chris Brown. And
All right.
yeah, those are my spots.
Well, thanks for joining us, Chris. It was really fun to actually get to see you and catch up with you.
Absolutely. I'm
On the
very curious
episode.
to hear about the rest of the list. I'm going to have to check in and listen and hear what the top, I guess, 7 or 6 are now. So,
We're on to our number 6. Yeah, like I said,
right.
weirdly, we all have the same top 6, although we get a little shuffle in the top here. But same, like these albums just really vibed with us this year. So
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys did albums. I was like, wow. I was like, oh, okay. At first, when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, she like misspoke or said the wrong. That like she means singles or songs. It's like, no, you went with albums. Okay.
no,
I mean, yeah, it doesn't really
and-
matter. We can just like try to like label, okay, like this is, for singles, because I think we're pretty very
Yeah.
mixed with like our, with our picks, especially with Jenny's. I think she had like some singles in her picks as well. So I'll be sure to, like label those well in the video or in the videos.
oh yeah, for sure.
We're all good.
So.
Yeah,
All
we'll be
right.
sure to
This is
tag
a
you
lot
too.
of fun.
We'll be sure to tag
we'll
you
take it.
so you can check out the episode.
Oh, absolutely. Because I'm very curious to
take it.
hear what you guys thought were top 5, if there was anything that crossed over with my list. I'm curious.
You'll be very we'll be very surprised because I have a lot of like mixes with like groups or girl groups, guy groups, and soloists.
Solo artists. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. And I hear that this last couple ones. And maybe check out some of these. And definitely check out some of the ones I've recommended as well.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For sure.
The Monster X one. It's kind of caught my ears.
Yeah.
It's a very good listen. Highly recommended.
Okay.
Very highly recommended.
Yeah, even like their vocal, like I don't know if they consider it nasally, but no, like they have like some really like very like whole like vocal range with their, especially the rapper, like he's like a really deep voice, whenever he raps. But like they have like a really good vocalist in their group.
Okay, I'll have to check them out. I may have heard them earlier this year, but maybe they just kind of flew under my radar, and have to check them out again, along with a lot of these you mentioned. So, can't wait to hear what your top few were, and best of luck with the rest of the list.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris, and you have a happy holidays and happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Hopefully, we'll do this again sometime in 2022.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Number 6 is isn't our number 6 in the same pick?
Yes, our number 6 is the same pick.
Yeah. Anyways, no surprise to us. We included for our top 6 is Stray Kids album Noisy.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, what else can we say? I mean, pretty much like 80s. Like we really enjoy a lot of the high energy, like the noise, the high energy with Stray Kids, and they pretty much continue on from their very successful album last year with God's Menu, or what was like the name of their album again?
Let's Go Live, and then In Life.
In Life.
With the Erie package, yeah.
Yeah, I love how it's really it's a really great continuation with like that type of energy, continuing in Noisy, with like a lot of like tracks that we recommend from Cheese, Thunderous, which is the title track of the album, Domino, Sick, and of course Red Lights. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much we can like say about Red Lights, but a lot, again, Stray Kids, pulled no punches with this here.
They didn't, and like I mean, it showcases just like the production power behind Sriracha and the producers working with Sriracha to kind of get their their ideas to fruition. I think it really does also showcase just their strengths overall as a group. I mean, the fact that they have so many of the members, that can rap it, but then they can also do all the vocalizations and they can sing really, really well too. throughout, because you see that obviously like in the more aggressive stuff like Cheese and Thunderous and Domino. But then and then when my pick track Star Lost is was a little more I think more vocalization heavy, showcases a little bit more of the like the strengths on their vocal sides of things too. And then but yeah, then we have to Red Lights is Red Lights. But I mean I have to credit too for I have to give credit on Red Lights to Hunjin's range on that, just because like going high and low on that, like because I know people have like said he doesn't have much range, but he really does showcase his range on that song. Playing again a kind of this very Weekend-esque sultriness, R&B sultriness to the song.
Yeah, it's very like it's very like very much in Stray Kids type of persona. It feels very like youthful, but still very mature. And yeah, I love how like it's like they present like their own type of like love or romance in their own
their own way,
like their own gesture, in their own way.
Yeah, and then I also yeah, very dangerous. And then I also have to give a shout out to the track Gone Away, which was the unit track that had Han, Sungmin, and Ayan on it. Seriously could be in a K-drama. Really showcases Han's vocals really well, because people just think Han's a straight rapper, but he's got some very strong vocals, which I remember threw people for a loop on Kingdom during the switcheroo round when they were performing I'll Be Your Man. And then the OT8 version of Wolfgang, which is on this album as well, which they performed on Kingdom as well. So that's also really grown on me. So
yeah, I love how 80s and Stray Kids both like included their missing members into like the track that they did from Kingdom and into like their actual album. So yeah, good on them.
Good on them. So yeah, I mean, both of them are pretty ride or die OT8, I feel like. So I know ATEEZ was definitely missing Mingi during Kingdom, and I know Stray Kids was definitely missing Hunjin during Kingdom this year. So but yeah, this album blew me away, just how well put together it was. So, and then I think our number 5s are the same too, aren't they? Or do we?
Yes, they are the same thing.
Our number 5s are exactly the same. Our number 5 pick, I don't know how this is working out, but this did. I swear to God, like I literally had these all up in here, and for some reason they're just all lining up with Ginny's. I swear to God, but like I really had these all in my mind when I was
same
thinking.
Mindsets. I think we have like we're sharing the same like half of our brain cells.
That one brain cell we have between each other. Our number 5 pick is NCT Dream's Hot Sauce. Which is to know it is obviously the first album to bring back Mark back into NCT Dream officially, and as now NCT Dream
like
is
a very permanent lineup. So there's no more of like that graduation like like each member like goes out to other like groups. So good thing they made it into like a very like a stable seven member group. For this
lineup, at least under the NCT catalog of groups here. But I mean, Hot Sauce was one of those albums that just like completely caught me off guard, because like I know some of NCT Dream's stuff before Hot Sauce, but then actually sitting down and listening to this album, it was just like, wow, like the vocal maturity and the growth this group has had in the 5 years they've been together, you really do see it on this album. Obviously, like I mean, Hot Sauce is just a fun song, fun title track in itself.
You can hear a lot of like maturity with like their innocent, like very childlike music back in their early days you can hear like the evolution in their music, like how it's like it feels more grown up, but it still keeps like that youthful energy, that what makes them NCT Dream. So I love how they still kept that and still kept to their personas as that group.
Yeah, it's like the more youthful, younger members of NCT. I mean, my pick songs are obviously Hot Sauce, Dive Into You, Rocket, and Countdown 3, 2, 1. All of them fantastic tracks. I mean, this whole album's a fantastic listen.
Yeah,
Forwards and
same with
backwards.
me. Mine was Hot Sauce, Dive Into You, Countdown 3, 2, 1, and I think my other favorite track was more of like a slow down track, which is Be There For You. I love like the
Mhm.
very old school like R&B ballad, between Ronjun, Haechan, and Chanla, who did that track with Be There For You. It's
Yeah.
not like the really like sentimental sappy type of flavor, but it's very like very soothing and very yeah, it feels very very mellow, but it still
hmm
brings up like powerful you know sentiment from a ballad, thanks to
hmm
a lot of like the vocalists from that group.
Yeah. So, and then from here, this is where we get a
We
little
separate
variety,
from like the roads.
a
We
little
drive
separate,
into like
but
different roads,
a
and
little
then we come
separation.
back. And then we come back in the in the
Then we
section,
come
but
back, but we do have this. This is interesting because we do have the same top 4 albums, but the way we organize them are a little different. So,
yeah.
I don't know how we want to go about doing this, because
Well, I'll label mine. So I can go
okay,
with my top four, which is
okay,
IU's Lilac. Um, if you're really into like the K-pop, like business and industry and like the music, you pretty much know how IU was such a powerhouse, in like a K-pop solo artist. And yeah, with this, because Lilac is such a renowned like a renowned like well praised album in for this year, because sometimes
hmm
yeah, sometimes I'm not too crazy with a lot of like ballad or like a lot of sentimental pop songs, but with this one I really enjoy IU's take on a very more like it's almost like a city retro pop, thanks to with Lilac. That's why I couldn't like really I couldn't remember Yukika's that much, or not like I
hmm
forgot
forgot
Yukika's
about Yukika.
because yeah, because I think IU really like brought in with that that city pop as well, and it's
hmm
very I remembered a lot of like the tracks there. Um, it's very very fitting with like the coming of springtime, since it was released during those months, so very
hmm
fitting that it brings such a, like that right ambience into that hope of like having like this new life, and like and it's very dreamlike as well. And that's what like
hmm
IU really succeeded in with her falsetto voice.
hmm
So my recommended songs would have been like Lilac, Coin, Micey, Apu,
hmm
and Epilogue. Those are my recommended picks from that album.
Yeah, no, those were amazing, amazing picks for Lilac. Like Lilac was an amazing album. Like I said, this is my top 4, honestly. But it is not my number 4. My number 4 pick is actually Chungha's Carencia, which is I think
Yeah,
one of the first albums we reviewed this year. One of the first like big albums we reviewed this year.
yeah, 'cause it came out in the beginning of the year, so it's very
hmm
very early on.
Yeah, this was a very early on album, but I mean, this was a beast of an album. I mean, she put a lot of work into this
Literally.
thing. I mean, it's 4 different sides. It's 4 different facets of her. I mean, they're literally, I mean, there's like 4 different introduction tracks on here between the 4 different sides of it, and they all have four distinct different personalities of like music styles to them. But there's just something about it that still flows together super well. And that just showcases Chungha's different styles that she can play with music, and just a lot of these tracks really blew me away. I mean, a lot of them were pre-releases that she had released previously, but there's also a lot of new music on there too. And she wasn't just singing in Korean and then in English, but she also threw some Spanish tracks on there as well, showcasing I think a little bit of her. I think because she's originally, I believe, originally from Texas, so she's has some kind of Spanish Latin flair into her music a little bit. I mean, I picked some of the pick songs from Carencia, the main title track off of this album, Bicycle, which reminds me a lot of Ariana Grande's Side to Side.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can
lots and
totally
lots
see
of
that.
similarities. A lot of similarities to that. Flying on Faith. I do have, even though this came out before the album Stay Tonight, is an amazing track. Fits super well in here. Uh, Dream of You, and then also the song Demente, which features the rapper, I believe Latin rapper,
Yeah,
Ghana,
I'm Puerto Rican.
the
Kinda,
Puerto Rican
yeah.
rapper Ghana, on there too. The one of the Spanish tracks on this album too is super great, and like her vocalizations is just super great, and she just um it's a really good album. The one thing I will drag it on is a tad long because it is almost an hour long.
Oh
It
yeah,
does
I
take
can. Yeah,
a little
I see
towards
that.
the end, but overall, there's a lot of really good, solid music on here. So that's my number 4.
Nice. Um,
And
yeah,
I
I think
think
we
we're
yeah we can like yeah I'll
with,
explain more with Chang'e, spoiler alert, but
yeah,
yeah, we can like
like
move
I'll
on
explain a
with
little bit more
our
with
top.
IU.
Yeah, so we can move on to us sharing our top 3 spot,
Number,
which is Shiny's "Don't Call Me,
mm,
Don't Call
don't,
Me."
uh,
Man, what a time! Like I kind of feel bad. Like I got into Shiny, as like a 4-member group. Like wish I could like see them or like experience like them as 5, but still, this is such a remarkable return of like all the members together after like a lot of them went to like the military. So
mhm.
this is like talk about like a real comeback. Like this is like a real comeback for in K-pop industry with Shiny, because they are such a legendary group in starting from the second generation, and they're really influential with in terms of like music, fashion, and like pretty much everything. So don't call me, even though don't call me, it feels like a return to Shiny with like that their staple type of music and how they sound. But I love how Don't Call Me feels such a bit of a change into their concept, because a lot of Shiny something is like they always have like this really bright, like this very sunny feel, atmosphere with their music. It's very like a carefree type of sounds, like very ideal with when in terms of like writing about romances and love.
Mhm.
So I love how Don't Call Me is such a very like a 180 turn into something that's so like dangerous, and talk about like the toxicities of love. And I love how it has that still kept that shiny sound into it, because it feels very old school with like that hip hop R&B sound. And yeah, it's a return of Shiny, and like a new change in their sound. I love their other B tracks though, which is very like standard Shiny thing with Heart Attack, Code, and Kiss Kiss. Those are my other favorite B sides from them.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, this was an amazing comeback, like comeback for them to like come back on the scene and just like blow the doors off, because there was something tiny bit fourth gen ish, tiny bit to Don't Call Me. It's tiny noisy, but it still felt very much in the vein of their original sound and original style, and blew me away. Yeah, also like you, Hard Tack is also is one of my favorite tracks off this album. Also love Marry You as well as Body Rhythm off of this album. All fantastic tracks. This was seriously a wonderful comeback for Showels, for Shiny. Sucks that won't have them as all 4 now because Taemin's out in the military. Um, uh, um, and he'll be gone for a little bit yet. But hopefully, once he's out, we'll hopefully have more fantastic music from Shiny in the future.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
and now to
I
our
think
top 2.
the top 2. Raise yourselves, people. This is it's I kind of like a bit of a dilemma, like which I would like, which music or which artist deserves to be in the top two and top one. But I
Hmm.
decided for top, for second place in my top 10 K-pop of 2021 is Akmu's next episode. Um, with Akmu, I really love how genuine this group is because they're not like this typical either girl group or boy group. They're actually a brother and sister duo, and I love how their music feels very different to a lot of like the manufactured, pop sound that you hear a lot of, in K-pop. So these days. So I love how it's very traditional and they use rely about a lot of like real instruments whenever they produce their music. So it feels very traditional and genuine. And I really wish they could like give a lot of like more recognition, even though they won some awards this month. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy that they earned those awards.
Hmm.
What I love about like the sound for here, it feels very like this alternative Europop, like spanning from the 90s to the 2000s. I was trying to like figure out like how do I compare it to, because I've listened to it like a lot of like old classic music, and
Hmm.
it really reminds me of a lot of like a bit of post punk revival, kind of like the band Interpol, especially when it
Hmm.
comes to like the music from their track "Hey Kid, Close Your Eyes" that is featuring artist Lee Sun Hee. I love it. It feels very like you can hear a lot of like those types of like pop sound, from other European or Western, countries like
Hmm.
that. So it feels a bit nostalgic and feels, like something. It's like the music is not really K-pop, but it feels like somewhere else, like other countries, like in Europe or in North America.
Yeah.
I love how like this project, it has like a lot of featuring artists from each track. My other recommended song here would be Naka, which is featuring IU. So yeah, it's such a neat project for them to like produce like the music and have artists like sing with them. So yeah, it's very it's a very neat thing for them to do, and I really enjoy a lot of their songs.
Yeah. No. I don't want to give away my my top picks here because um because I will be doing it here in a second because my top two also it was a bit of a fight for me too to figure out my top two, but my number two pick actually went to IU's Lilac, which was Ginny's number four pick. A lot of the same reasons Ginny said. I mean, this is an album that really stuck out to me upon first listen and just has kind of resonated with me throughout the year. I mean, it's definitely has like those very like early spring like vibes. There's a lot of like this just growth in this album, and it really just showcased why IU is such a popular artist over in Korea. Um, she just has this beautiful, amazing vocals, and it's sentimental without being too sappy, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I mean, much like you, like I might pick songs like Lilac Coin, My Sea, Apu. I had to throw Celebrity in there as well, which was a pre-release, but just put on the album. Uh, she has this almost like a different way of looking at things in the world, and when she sings about them, but it's this very refreshing take on things, and it just has this very like it has a very nice sentimentality to it, and I really do enjoy her vocals, and I'm really curious to see where things are going to go for her as she's kind of approaching her 30s as an artist because she's getting a little bit older. And just overall, it's just a great, relaxing album to listen to, especially on those days when it's like the cold and it's starting to get a little bit warmer. So like I'm feeling this is going to probably go into my rotations early spring, especially again next year, as we're getting to like the winter thaws and the springtime is about to bloom. Like this is just gonna be one of those like nice relaxing albums just to kind of lay down and relax and just kind of enjoy and kind of revive and rejuvenate. And that's why I really enjoyed I use Lilac this year.
Yeah, I feel like she deserves like the awards too, even though she's like
Hmm.
like scooping up like all the major awards. But I wasn't mad at that. And
No,
if you're new to K-pop, you should really check into IU. Like it's it's very agreeable to how like she's very like influential into in this business and in this entertainment. So yeah, check out
she's
IU.
a lot of idols idolize her, look up to her, as
Jungkook.
well, they look up to her as like people like artists they followed when they grew up, especially a lot of the like later third and fourth generation artists now like really do look up to her, as artists that they followed and they grew up with that have really inspired their music. So IU is definitely an artist you should check out, and this album was freaking fantastic. So
Okay, I guess we
for
should
number one.
like the moment of truth here. So um yeah, so my top pick my top 10 for K-pop of 2021. First place goes to Chang'a with Carencia. And even though so I know Jenny has like her own own say for this, but I would like to expand. Even though a lot of like there's a lot of tracks that you have to like go through and listen. Many people might not like be able to like finish or maybe like skip some parts of the song, but for me personally, I love how like each of the songs there, or like a lot of the songs, is such a callback to a lot of classic pop. So it's kind of similar with Key's take, with his album. Yeah, with here, I can hear a lot of like different types of like pop. Like she's like influenced from the retro pop into like the 2000s modern pop. And I love how like she even organized like the album as like some kind of narrative with like the different sides. It's like I love how each side is like representing a theme, and certain pop subgenre, like side A is like more of like the modern pop sound. Side B, which is probably my favorite portion of the album, is like the more bogus type of like beat into it, like the really club like dance house dance vibe. And like side C would be like the more Latin pop type of flavor. So I love how this is like such a passion project for her, that she's able to produce and organize it well into like a very concise and very um, diverse mix in her album. So I wish it like she got like a lot of like recognition for this, even though it came out earlier this year. So that's why she probably might have been like modeled with other groups that came out like after her. But yeah, like hopefully like you guys could like check out a lot of the songs there from Changha. My recommended songs would be "Bother Me," "Demente" featuring Guyana, and "Comes and Goes." Those are my favorite tracks from there.
All right. Yeah. Like I said, it's a really good album. Like I said, for me, it dragged a tiny bit, but it's a really good album. You really should take a good listen to it at least one time all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, give it a
Um,
chance, or just
give
like
it a chance.
jump in like into like some songs maybe.
Yeah, really give it a chance. So, my number one album of 2021 for K-pop goes to Akmu's next episode. This I honestly would not have known about until Ginny had told me about Akmu,
Hmm.
with our comeback episode this summer. And wow, like this blew me away the first time I listened to it. And it has stuck with me since I listened to it, because I mean, it's really something completely different than you see in anything else in K-pop. There's this very low, almost kind of lo-fi style to it. I feel like
Yeah.
with
Yeah, I see
Akmu.
I see what you're
Uh,
going with there.
yeah, it feels very lo-fi. But there's just some really, really, really great with both of their vocals with the two of them. And then the fact that they are collabing with a lot of amazing artists on this album too. I mean, not just Lee Sun Hee, not with just IU. They also, I think, collabed with Dean. They collabed with Choi Jong Hoon from Dana B, who also we had another awesome album this year too. because we talked about Johnny in our comeback episode as well. Crush, who's an amazing singer as well, who's done a lot of K-pop, or excuse me, OSTs, Korean drama OSTs. Zion T, a former member of another amazing rapper. There's just a lot of amazing vocalists on this album, and it's just, it really blew me away just how every track just got better and better and better and better in my head, and just like, it's one of those albums just stuck with me, and I kept going back to it, like one of those days, like I just had a bad day, like I just go to it and it just really would cheer me up, because it felt good. It just, like, it was a good listen, and it's a nice quick listen too. With Akmu as well. I mean, it's a quick, like, less than half-hour listen, and it's just some great, like you said, some like postmodern pop, punk, some really good vibes on it, and much like you, like Hey Kid Close Your Eyes, featuring Lee Sun Hee and Knockout with IU, highly recommend. I also recommend Tick Tock Tick Tock Tick Tock with rapper Benzino, really great track. Next episode with Choi Jung Hoon, Jonabi, and then Stupid Love Song with Crush. Next episode in Stupid Love Song, it was really cool because it's a chance for each of them to showcase their own vocals separately with the featuring artists. So those are really cool tracks to check out towards the end of the album. But yeah, it was really close in my mind between IU and Akmu. Like, I had albums that just help me relax, because sometimes, like, I do listen to like a lot of the nice stuff every day. Like, I definitely listen to like a lot of, like, the ATEEZ, Stray Kids, The Boys, Tomorrow by Together, BTS on the daily. But like, albums when I need to just relax, unwind, chill, and I still want to be in the K-pop lane of things, these are the things I go towards that really kind of help me chill out, and they really resonate and they really stick with me. So that's why I gave my number one to Akmu this year. So but I was about to recommend, like, because I was like having a hard time like recommending which songs I like here from Akmu. I was about to say everything, just like recommend everything. It's not too long of an album, so just all of them. But I just chose like the first two. Yeah, I honestly go listen to the whole thing. It's super fantastic listen. So it was hard for me to pick like some more songs off of it. Like, that's why I had to pick off next episode and Stupid Love Song, because I think it was just so cool for them to play have their individual vocals and then feature with the featured artist too on each track. So just really cool experimentation on that to showcase their own specialties. So I guess before we go, let's get into our honorable mentions, because we do have some honorable mentions we want to mention before we close out the episode and close out the year, because there's some things that didn't quite make the list, both album wise and even with singles, that feel like those definitely deserve mentions. Do you want me to go ahead and go first? Or do you want to go?
Sure. I mean, mine's like a short list though, so I can just like skim through if you don't mind. I just mixed a lot of like singles and albums together. So it would be The Boys' Maverick. Number 2 would be Everglow's First. Number 3 is ATEEZ Zero Fever Part 2. Number 4 is CL's Alpha. And number 5, My Boys BTS. Even though you're in the honorable mentions, I still, enjoy Butter.
I actually kind of split mine up because I actually had some honorable mention like songs / singles. As well as honorable mention albums. Like, these are the albums that like were literally flirting on my list. / I think deserve a mention. My singles / songs that I think deserve a mention. Most of them Jenny's actually mentioned. Butter, from BTS. I mean, yes, it's an English song, but super good.
Of course, I have like the feels too. So there's no exceptions.
No exceptions to that whatsoever. The Boys Maverick, that still resonates with me even after all this time. Super good. Ever Goes First as well. Jesse's What Type of X, which came out earlier this year. That's super fun. In your face. That was super great. And then as well as Hoshi's Spider, which
Oh
came
yeah, it's a good
out.
one.
That was really, really good. That really caught me off guard when that came out. His like solo debut, Hoshi from 17, just holy crap, like whoa, that shocked me. And then for honorable mentions for albums, I really have no like order on my honorable mentions because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just kind of threw them on here. But honorable mention albums for me is On and Off City of On and Off, which is the repackage from this year. I have to give it to them that the kind of futuristic retro sound, uh, like future retro sound they have, super well. And also, this is one of the few like repackaged albums I've ever seen that actually works super well because the three songs that are new could have worked even on the original album. So like
Mm.
it's just a really really solid repackage. Um, in Hyphen with their second album Border Carnival, which came out earlier this year. Uh, that's that blew me away when that came out. The title track Drunk Dazed, I think, was on repeat for me for weeks, if not months. Because that just was an amazing song. Even the other B-sides on that album are fantastic. Like Fever, which even kind of a secondarily promoted single. And I like Mixed Up too off of that one. CL's Alpha, which Ginny had mentioned as well. That's an amazing album as well. Woods, Only Lovers Left from the R&B artist Woods. That's an R&B album that really resonated with me when I first listened to it. It's still stuck around in my listens as of late. 17's Attica. Uh, just really, really thought this has been the best 17 album in a long time. I really dug the whole rock sound on this one because I'm a big lover of kind of like that rock, more alt rock sound, and it was very much in that vein, and I really dug it. As well as Monster X No Limits, which Ginny had on her top 10 list. Very much the similar reasons, kind of going back to that again, that similar Monster X sound we had seen back in the earlier days. Really, really resonated really well. And then I also had to give a special shout out to P1 Harmony for their second album, this Harmony Breakout, for a group that has just come out. Super solid second release. They're, I think, another underrated fourth generation group out there right now. They're literally actually just about to have a comeback, actually just over the new year. So one of the albums we're gonna have to review when we come back, I have a feeling, from our break here. But this is an album that blew me away and showcases like they have some amazing vocals in their group as well as some amazing rap prowess as well, and just the production on this is insane between the title track on that, and as well as some of the B sides. It's just wow. I mean, like Scarred was an amazing song, and then some of the B sides, my favorites being Pyramid, and then If You Call Me, fantastic tracks. So highly recommend you check out P1 Harmony. So yeah, but those are my picks from all of 2021. It was hard to go through everything.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that we just kind of like flew through because thanks to our shared likes or your shared
Yeah.
places of our like certain albums, so there's that.
Yeah, makes it a little easier to have to make the list a little bit easier to go through. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of music we listened to this year that we had to sort through. So I think listened to almost 200 albums. I feel like this
Did
year.
we?
I
Did
feel
we?
like it.
I didn't ever count it. I never counted.
I didn't count either, but I almost feel like, I don't know if it was 200, but maybe 100. At least 100. Maybe 150. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of music that comes out. I mean, we don't even hit everything that comes out either, too, in K-pop, because it'd be almost near impossible for us. So apologies
Yeah.
if your favorite's not on the list. I mean, it's sometimes really hard for us to get through everything, plus obviously personal tastes and stuff too. But yeah, I'm actually kind of happy this is over, because like, this was some mind bending work too to figure out my list this year. So
It's always good to like like take notes on like which is your favorite album whenever we review. So you got like you can like check again and say, okay, I think this should be in my top place, or something like that. So just like take notes on like your favorite album, like which one really stuck out to you. So during the year.
Yeah, I think I would have to do that. It might make it a little easier next year.
Yeah. Or if we're gonna like evolve our award show into something like
Oh God.
if we have the time.
If we have the time. That's if we have the time. Oh, I don't know if we will. But we could try. Dang it, we can only try. But yeah, that's everything for 2021 for us, I think. We made it through another year of the Noonas podcast. Although we had a bit of a lengthy break in the summer, but
yeah.
We appreciate you guys sticking around with us for a whole another year of K-pop craziness. And that's just kind of breaking it down and kind of sticking with us every week as we go over what's happening over in Korea, as well as reviewing some new music from coming over there. And we hope to continue to keep doing this in 2022. Who knows what's on the horizon for us? I just know we have some new music coming out in January. I don't know what's all coming out in January yet, but some stuff. I think they finally decided Kepler's debuting in January.
Yeah, hopefully they're all recovered from from COVID. So yeah.
I hope so. Like I said, P1 Harmony is actually having their next album on January 3rd. Yeah, like because I've been seeing the teasers for that already, and they were doing like all these like teasers because they were doing stuff related to actually their whole entire universe, which was kind of fascinating because basically all of them have superpowers, but we don't know one of the members what their superpower is. He's just a complete mystery. Like nobody knows what he is in their universe. And it's kind of funny. Like it's like, oh great, so he's just an anomaly. But yeah, it'll be fun, and plus we'll see what else comes on the horizon for us come January. But we're gonna take a short break for the holidays, for the rest of the holidays, as well into early January, just to recharge and hopefully be back with new episodes and more music reviews and more news from Korea, and get right back at it and see what's all there for us. So
yeah.
Anything you want to plug?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at Ginny Liano. So that's GINNYLEANO. You can check out my design pages at Ginny Liano Designs, Instagram at Ginny Designs, and the rest of my other links you can find from my personal pages. And back to you, Jenny.
And you can find me, Jenny. You can find me over on Facebook, facebook.com/Jenny Matasek. That's Jenny with an I, Matasek. You can also find me over on Instagram and on Twitter at Chaos Bulldog. You can also find the show pages for the Noonas podcast over on Instagram and on Twitter at Noonas_podcast. Don't forget that underscore. You can also check out the Spotify playlist for this episode and past episodes. If you just click the bio of those links, it'll take you over to Spotify to check out the massive playlist this episode's going to have, because I know this episode's going to have a massive playlist with all the recommended songs we've had on this one. And then you can also check out our SoundCloud of our back catalog of audio-only episodes over on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Noonas podcast, all one word. And make sure to check out the video form of our show now on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for the Noonas podcast over on those platforms. Make sure to give us a follow, like, subscribe. Make sure you get those notifications, all that fun stuff over there. Hopefully, maybe in 2022, we'll get to do some more fun video stuff. Maybe, potentially.
Hopefully.
I don't know.
When we have
Maybe.
the time. When we have the time.
When we have the time, we can plan some things. Like I said, I would love to do some album openings if we if anyone was interested in that, like album openings, because I do tend to buy quite a few albums because I can't control myself.
I went to the mall yesterday, and then there was like a new store that had a lot of like Japanese and Korean like merchandise, and they have like physical albums imported from Korea, and I was so tempted to get some of them. I was literally like this on like at the shelf.
You're just like so solid, like it's like
yeah. Even like a lot of girls came in later and then crowded over like the shelf. Like, okay, I'm done. I had to go. There's so many crowded there.
Yeah. As I look over at my collection here, it's a dangerous habit to get into.
I know. I don't know where to put like for like my albums because I have no room for a shelf here.
As she currently looks at my what I have now dubbed the K-pop shrine. In my place. Although my roommate likes to come look at my stuff too and laugh at me, so hey, that's fine. But I mean, I'm still waiting for my Christmas Evil album to come. It finally shipped from Korea. It's now after Christmas, but it's finally shipped. I'm also still waiting for my ATEEZ albums to come too, but hey, yay for shipping delays. But we'll see what happens with all that kind of stuff in the future, but yeah, otherwise, yeah, I hope everyone had an awesome Merry Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate this time of the year. Hope everybody has an amazing New Year's. And hopefully we'll see you guys all in 2022 back here with some more K-pop insanity, for lack of a better term. Us looking, K-pop people respectfully, as some people have been dubbing over on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I think with that, I think we're going to sign off for the one final time this year for 2021 with a resounding
Sleepy. Fighting.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.